Hey folks, how's it going? It's your favorite realtor team from New York. It's Evantz Saint-Gerard.
And Dean Graber.
We're your hosts, Team NWE of Keller Williams Realty Landmark, and you're watching Your Next Move, Season 2. Our guest, I want him to introduce himself and where he's from. So go ahead, Carlton.
Well, yeah, I'm Carlton Hill. I'm actually from New York City, from the Bronx.
Whoop, whoop.
Currently in the Washington, D.C. area. Been here for 20 plus years. Been in the business for 18 plus years. Licensed in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
Okay. Nice. The trifecta.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So being that you were born and bred a New Yorker and moved out to there, basically, what's the things you can tell us are slightly different from both areas?
Well, I always call DC a mini New York.
Okay.
This it feels like it's like a miniature New York. The biggest difference is we have so much tourist stuff. There's a lot of tourist stuff. We got the Smithsonian's. We got, the Virginia right there across the water. So many things to do and see. A lot of trails. People love trails out here. And so there's a lot of activities you can do here in DC.
It's funny you mentioned the trails. We've been doing this series. I think this is episode, I'm not sure of the number, but
trails are getting worn out in other cities is what people
every episode, I think everybody's talked about trails and how the natural resources are being used more because of COVID. A lot of people decide to put the electronics down and go enjoy nature, and the trails basically are actually being used, which is kind of good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's good to see that people are actually seeing.
I've been taking advantage of those since I've been in DC. Like I cycle and I do a lot of walking. I once walked from DC to Virginia, and I biked from DC to Maryland to Virginia back to DC.
Really? And how long did all that take?
It took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Really?
What's the bridge that goes over there from, like, let's say the capital area to
the 14th Street Bridge? We also have the 495, the Belvedere. I forgot the name of that bridge. But there's a bridge that goes from Virginia to Maryland over there near National Harbor. So I pretty much did a whole big full circle.
Okay.
All right. So that could be something you do on a regular basis if you're living in that area. It's like, you know what? I want to jog. I want to, go to 3 different states basically every weekend. And
exactly.
You do.
Exactly.
All right. So besides exercising, what other activities are out there?
I mean, right now, there were so much more activities before, but I mean, right now, a lot of people, people still going bowling, which is strange, but people still bowl. Of course, they cycle, outdoor stuff, and it's really not that much to do outside. Oh, actually, some of the museums are still open as well.
Okay.
So people still museums. That's always been popular.
Well, let's say pre-COVID then, just because there's going to be a post-COVID as well. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, really. In terms of indoor, I mean, there's a lot of great restaurants here that we enjoy. I mean, people tour the White House. That's always a good. I did that a couple years back, right before Obama left. I did a tour that was really great. But yeah, and then they got outdoor movies, which are really cool. But yeah, it's a big restaurant scene out here. People love to hit up the restaurants, so that's one of the big here. And then Georgetown, the Southwest waterfront, going to the wharf, and then National Harbor, which they have the casinos out there, so people love that.
Okay, so casinos, and you mentioned one of my favorite things, food. So let's talk about food. You talked about food. So let's talk about the food. Food-wise, what's stuff that we should know about we don't know?
One of the DC staples is Ben's Chili Bowl.
Never heard of that.
Really? Oh yeah, you got to come check it out. They're known for the chili cheese dog. Their fries are really good. It was open till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's where a lot of celebrities went to. And so it was a really great place to go. It's still great. They still have it open. They have like outdoor seating now for it.
Okay.
One of my favorite places is the Hamilton. It's a restaurant. It's like an American cuisine restaurant. It's really good food. There's a couple pizza places I like to go to. Not like New York pizza.
I was about to ask.
New York pizza, but there's a couple places that I go to. One's called We the Pizza.
We the
That's one.
people.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
All
that.
right.
yeah. Matter of fact, the guy who opened that, he's actually from New York. He was in one of those restaurant competitions. So he opened that and he franchised that out, and he's got like several locations now. So that's actually one of my favorite places. And another place called Wise Guys
Okay.
Pizza. Really good pizza. Yeah.
What
What's
about
your
crab? I was here like Maryland crab. Does that apply where you were at by DC?
Oh yeah. Oh, they love crab. I personally am not a crab person, so people they have the crab, the crab feast, like every weekend crab feast somewhere. People are like, let's go to the crab feast. So they do that. Love the crab cakes as well. We'll head up to Baltimore for that though. Baltimore has really good food as well.
All right. So, talk to us about the amenities out by you and affordability. What's price wise for properties, and what kind of properties are available?
You know, DC's kind of on pace with New York in terms of pricing. Depending on, we are DC, Maryland, Virginia. So depending on where you are, in Virginia, you're looking at average sales price probably like mid sixes. DC's probably a little higher, maybe sevens. And those are just for single family, houses. Maryland probably in the mid threes is the average sales price. So, I mean,
how far outside of the DC area to get to that price point? Like
to get to what? Which one?
The lowest one.
Like how far out of DC?
Right outside of DC right now, it's about 350 is the average. They got some stuff high and low, but 350 is about right. I got a client right now been, checking over to see a lot of properties for 350 that are move-in ready type of properties.
Okay, and do you have like a lot of retirees moving out over there, or young families? Who's moving out?
I would say it's mostly it's a younger family group out here. The older groups they're kind of moving out of DC. Well, actually, that's actually not true. There was a big move from retirees back into the city because there wasn't enough to do outside of the city. They wanted the peace and quiet, but then there was no amenities, there was no activity, so they moved back into the city so they can go catch shows and go to the Smithsonian and stuff like that, or even the Kennedy Center.
Okay.
So are there I think like in the college towns, what do people live in the college towns a lot, like by Georgetown and stuff? And I remember seeing a lot of brownstones there. And
oh yeah, Georgetown. I mean, that's a price. And there's a lot of college kids out there, but around the university, I mean, you're looking at $750,000 homes over there and up. So yeah, they're still living over there. A lot of the people renting their houses out there.
Is it mostly students, or do people the families buy homes there? That's like
no, it's a mix. It's a really good mix of both. Yeah, it's a really good mix of both out there. And it's been like in Georgetown and near Howard University. Everybody's kind of spread out. Like a lot of people who go to Howard, they live in Maryland and they commute into the district.
Okay. So do you what kind of job market is out there right currently besides politics and stuff like that and news?
I mean, a lot of legal, a lot of law firms out here because there's a lot of those groups out there going to the Hill, and so there's a ton of law firms out here in DC.
Okay. So if somebody's going to the law business, DC is something that they should definitely think about.
Definitely. I mean, and there's a lot of good government work here too.
All right, that's good to know.
Out here.
Medical profession too, or IT, or
IT is more so Virginia. They have the down 66. They have the tech corridor they have over there. So there's a lot of IT stuff out there. And then Maryland, kind of headed towards Baltimore. They're trying to bring more tech to that area as well. But in terms of like DC itself, it's more governmental stuff. All the other good stuff is outside of the district.
Okay. And I guess then, like New York, you have all your sports teams there. Every league is covered pretty much, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they're diehard fans out here. We got the Washington football team now, no longer the Redskins.
That's Washington, they're called, right? No name?
Yeah, no, it's called the Washington football team.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it's the Washington football team, and they're actually doing a lot better with that name than they were doing with the Redskins.
Okay. And what other sports teams are out there for those who don't know?
Oh, we got the Nationals, who were they were last year's champions, and we got the soccer team, DC United, and then they actually have I would say XFL team. It's called the the Defenders, DC Defenders.
I forgot about the XFL.
Yeah,
It's back.
and I actually like that's a good looking team. They actually did well their first season, so we're looking forward to catching those guys. They were doing way better than Redskins, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, the group formerly known as the Redskins.
Yeah.
All right. And what about college sports? Are there any college sports out there?
Of course, we got Georgetown. I mean, Georgetown is really the biggest one. Then you got George Mason out in Virginia, and University of Maryland, College Park, their team. So they got the basketball. They're really known for the basketball right now.
All right, awesome.
And what about, how far is Landover then? Landover is where the basketball team plays, right?
No, the basketball. The Wizards play in DC.
Oh, okay.
The Washington football team, they're out there in Maryland.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, being that you were originally from New York, how's the infrastructure, like commute-wise, traveling? Is there public transportation? Are you guys a lot of freeways, driveways, not driveways, freeways, and those things?
Yeah. So we have 295. We have we have the Beltway, which is 495, and then we have the metro for the trains and subways. It's not like New York though. It runs till about 11. 11. I'm sorry, 12 during the week and like 1 o'clock during the weekends.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the biggest. I miss New York subways. I missed that. I mean, I'm not riding them that much, but when I do, it's like, wow, I like to be able to just go at any time of the day or night. Miss that.
Uber. I guess is the only.
Uber's really big out here.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure. Sure. So you do have a lot of tourists coming to DC though. Is that still going on now, even with COVID? Or a little
just a little bit. It definitely has slowed down a great deal. There were times where it would just be crowded downtown, like Chinatown, near the White House, and near the Smithsonian's. It's pretty quiet right now. It's kind of scary. It's almost like a little ghost town right now in DC, because it used to be so many people out there just in the streets and enjoying themselves.
Okay, so a little change.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now, go on.
Go ahead. No, you go first.
So people that are moving from New York, though, are there any retirement communities? Like, shouldn't even call them retirement. Just over 55 communities. Anything in the suburbs there?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them. I can't remember the names offhand, but yeah, out there in there's a ton of them in Maryland, in Montgomery County. They actually have a big community called Leisure World in Montgomery County. It's like they have townhouses and condos.
Okay.
And I've actually sold a couple of those before, and those are like in the mid 3s, in somewhat in close to 4s. But yeah, there's a few of them out here. It's actually a big trend of a lot of developers wanting to build a lot of retirement communities here in the 55 and older communities as well. So it's definitely popular here.
Okay, yeah, they got popular here. That's why I was just wondering what was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just curious regarding a unit like that. What would be inside the unit? What could somebody expect inside the unit?
It's just like regular condos, the same. There's nothing. I mean, they have a lot of handicap accessible, stuff in the bathrooms and elevators and then also what's great about it is they have on-site amenities for seniors in these communities, and that's really a big plus, because they don't have to worry about going to go shop or stuff like, because they still operate on their own, but they keep a lot of the amenities they need right there on these developments.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your favorite thing in DC?
Well, in terms of real estate wise, a big part of my business is investors. Mm-hmm. And so, I work with several investors, from buy hold investors to developers who want to buy and rebuild and convert to condos and stuff like that. So that's my favorite thing. I like to work with investors. I like to see the new products they're putting out. So that's one of my favorite things here in DC.
Okay. All right. That's kind of great to know, basically. I didn't even think of DC as an investor friendly, but that's really good to know. So if someone was considering, I want to buy a second home, become an investor, would DC be something that they should start with?
Well, I would, I tell, it really depends on what their purse is looking like, right? So, the, so for example, I have a 5 unit under contract right now for $789, right? And so that's what the price points are looking like. Now, if you want to get a price, income property, I would say, Maryland, and I would also say Baltimore. Baltimore has really been popular, and Hagerstown, Maryland, which is a little bit further west of Baltimore. They have a lot of properties where you can get in the mid, in the twos, high ones, and get some pretty decent income. So I would tell people to look at those areas. And if they have the money to get into a DC investment property, I would say do it and just hold on to it. And you're not going to get a lot of cash flow up front, but over time, prices are going up. So you're going to get that appreciation, and you'll also be able to, raise the rental prices to get that additional income and cash flow. And
then the rental, is it a lot of student rentals in DC? I guess that was what, if you're in DC, that.
Well, it's funny. A lot of the schools they're developing their own rentals. And so before they were doing, big blanket leases for apartment buildings, but now they're just buying buildings and creating their own rental income for the students.
So that's part of their business as well as the education, I guess.
It makes sense. They control costs. So, and also they bring down costs for hopefully the student.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good. That's good.
All right. Tell us a little something that maybe someone who's watching this does not know about your area that they should know if they're considering moving there.
Something that they don't know. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, DC is just such a unique area. I think that you can find whatever you want here in DC. There's so many different little nooks and crannies that, for someone who wants to be, outdoorsy, you have that. For someone who wants that city life, it's right there. But if you want to, go out to the suburbs and be right, at a stone's throw from the city, you have that. DC has a little bit of everything in terms of like the whole DMV. There's something for everybody here. And that's the one thing I like about DC. You have a lot of options, and people think this just this or just that. DC has a lot of options. The DMV just gives you so much to work with.
Now, one more time, let them know what DMV stands for.
DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Okay.
Right. One more time, just in case they didn't get that.
DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Awesome. All right. One of the purposes why we put these video series together was basically to give people options. So I'm glad you hit on that. I want to thank you for being on the show. Now, if somebody's interested in moving to any one of the DMV locations, how can they reach you?
They can reach me by, they can give me a call at 202-489-8207. They can reach me at Instagram, chillworld1, or they can, email me at carltonhill@kw.com.
All right. Awesome. Again, thank you for doing this. Dean, if people are interested in selling their homes here and they want to make the move over to DC, how can they reach us?
Give us a call. Give me a call. Text me at 516-527-9549. Or my email is deangraber@kw.com.
And you can reach me at 917-975-5985. My email address is my first name, evantz@yahoo.com. So, Dean,
website www.mynyhomesales.com.
All right, awesome.
That always makes me laugh.
That's why I make you do it. All right, Carlton, again, thank you for doing the show. It's a pleasure to have you on this. Dean, thank you for co-hosting. And we want to tell everybody to
thank you, Evans, for hosting.
You guys make this easy for me. I'm sorry, Carlton, go ahead.
I said, thank you guys for having me on here. I appreciate it. I enjoyed myself.
Like I said, we want to give people options so they know where to go, basically, when they're ready to make that move. So on that note, I want to say goodbye to everybody. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends about the series.